So, welcome, guys. Last week I was Caitlin's support and her co-facilitator. This week I'll be taking over. Um, just real quick before we start, what we're going to be doing is the activity. We're going to start off with the activity, go over rules and confidentiality, things that we touched over last week. And since this will be our last session together, we're going to go through the termination process. And so we'll just finish up with discussion questions and just be talking for the majority of our 25 or so minute long session together. So for our activity, I was trying to think of something creative, but I'm not that creative. So what I was thinking about was a name game of some type. So maybe with our first name, if we take our first name and with every letter that we have in our first name, let's give an example of something that we appreciate. So for instance, my name starts with a C and then A. I appreciate cars and I appreciate animals. So boom, boom, CA. So that's how we would kind of do it. And just so that we can get a sense of what, we kind of like that resonates with us. So I'll give y'all a few minutes and then I'll think of my own. Let's see. I would hate to have a long name. Like, if you want Hattie, you can do Hattie. You don't have to do Hadassah. If you want to shorten your name for whatever reason, by all means, go ahead.
We're doing it for each letter of our name?
Yeah, that was the idea, but you can adjust it. Or yeah, we'll go with that. We'll stick with that. We're gonna stick with it. We're gonna follow you. See, Jay-Z got the pen and paper out. She's going ham for this one. Lori?
Oh, I mean, I'm ready.
Oh, I thought you were raising your hand to go, but if you're ready, by all means, girl, go for it.
Sometimes I wish I had a P in my name because I do enjoy popcorn. However, my name is Lori. I have 4 letters, Lori. So you said things that mean something to us, or
Yeah,
examples of what?
That's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So love.
Mm-hmm.
Orville Redenbacher popcorn.
Okay.
There you go.
Creative.
The color red, and rip, I didn't have one for I. Ice. I chew on ice because I probably have like a deficiency or something. So
I know
ice.
a lot of
There you
people
go.
chew on ice. That's all right.
Ah.
Is anybody else ready? JC, go for it.
Okay, so for J, I put January because that was the month I was born. I was born on January 19th, so pretty significant to me. I put for A, I put art because I was formerly an art major before I was a social work major, and I still plan on incorporating art into my.
Okay.
So for C, cats because I have like 20 of them, and I love them, and they're my support animals. And then I put for Y, Yorkies, because I like the dog, because I love them so much. My aunt has one, and he's literally the most precious thing ever. And he reminds me of my aunt. So
I'm a big dog fan too. Yorkies they're cuties. They're cuties for sure. Anybody else? I see Caitlin still thinking. Is that what I'm seeing? She's still thinking hard. Emily, do you have any yet? That's all right. Malette?
I can go.
I saw you.
I'm grateful for music. And then for A, I guess I like fresh air. Air.
Gotcha.
And then for H, health, good health. And L, I'm gonna steal Lori's and say love or Lori. For E, I like eating. And for T, I want to travel a lot.
Travel. Yes, ma'am. I like how that sounds. Hattie, are you writing stuff down? All right. Anybody else? All right, let's go, Caitlin.
Okay, so I put cats because I like cats too, like JC does. For A, I couldn't think of anything, so I put a phrase. I put a safe place to live because I'm thankful for that right now. Um, and for I put ice because I like to put ice in my drinks, and I'm really thankful for the power to do that. And T is for Taylor because she's my best friend, and I call her like every day. So.
Yes, there it is. Like how it sounds. Shania, did you see your hand up? All right, you can go next.
Okay, so for S, I put soap because I need soap to survive, you know? We need soap to stay clean. And then for O, I put oranges because whenever I get sick, that helps me, that vitamin C, you know?
Yeah.
My immune
Hmm.
it. And then N is night because that's like my favorite time of the day, nighttime. And then for E, I put eyes because our sight is a gift and we need to remember that without eyes, life will be different. And then Y, I put yellow because yellow is a beautiful color, you know, sunflowers, the sun, you know, it's beautiful. And then for A, I put art because like music and painting, anything like that, I love it. So
Awesome. Awesome. Emily?
Okay. All right. So for E, I put elephant.
Okay. Yes, yes.
Honestly, I couldn't think of anything, but they're cool creatures. Yeah, very unique. Um, for M, I put music. I appreciate music. I think without it, I would be very lost in life. So yeah. For I put ice as well because I chew on ice a lot and I appreciate it. And then for L, guess love. Love is great.
Here we go.
Everyone needs love in their life, you know. So, and then for Y, also the color yellow. It's not really my favorite color, but I love how it just brightens everything up. So, yes.
Yes, yellow does that. It does. Hattie, were you ready to go? All right.
Okay, so for H, I put harps because I think they sound really pretty. For A, I put airplane for travel, and for D, I put daydream because it's one of my favorite things to do. And then for the other D, I put disorganized because that's what I am. And then for the I put INFP for my personality type.
Yes, I love it. I love all of that. I think it's crazy to see. So we had, what was it? Ice and love. We heard those at least 3 times. So it's kind of nice getting to hear what's important to us, things we appreciate, and how we heard the same thing come up a couple times. And you know, I like that we can do that as a group, have these things in common. Moving forward, last week we came up with a couple rules. And just like Caitlin said, this is a living list. So if there's anything that you guys feel need to be added to what we have is respect for others and ourselves. And for the second one we had was mindfulness of experiences that we've all gone through. And that, of course, all comes under the umbrella of confidentiality we have in this group. So everything, again, just like last week, everything we talk about is going to be safe within the confines of this group chat session that we got going on. Unless there is, you know, harm involved, you know, regarding elderly and children and young people. So does anybody have anything else that they felt like should be added to the rules? We're all set on the rules? All right, sounds good. So today I'm going to be talking more on what Caitlin discussed last week. Does anybody remember we were talking about resources and how we could use them to solve problems? That's what we were talking about. Does anybody remember what I mentioned regarding the types of resources? JC?
We were talking about resources that are like on campus for us since, you know, everything's really like new to us and, you know, the semester was kind of ruined by like this whole COVID situation, or at least when it comes in terms of like resources at school. So we were given resources that we can use once we get back, because a lot of us aren't like aware of what resources we have. And so yeah.
Yep. So just like she said, Caitlin, please go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So I talked a lot about the external resources that we could kind of tap into, and Caleb brought up the idea of the external versus internal part of the resources. So what I focused on was, you know, something we all have in common, our situation at school's getting messed up. But, you know, I validated to you guys that it was your freshman year that got messed up. So the rest of us that are older than you had a full freshman year full of exercise and resources and knowing what's out there, and you guys didn't get to get that. So what Caleb brought up was, you know, diving more into the curriculum and me giving you the base understanding, and now you're ready to go, you know, more into it and understand maybe some resources that are actually within you that you could get yourself that are outside of Southern and outside of just external physical things.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And I mentioned those two things, the two types of resources, external and internal. And the definitions of internal is something that is a part of you or that you're able to do, or attributes. And the external is something outside of you, assets. Last week, it was JC and Millette that talked about their relationships. JC was talking about a boyfriend, and Millette was talking about an aunt and uncle, and how in the middle of that, we identified those things as external resources. So what I had before I wanted to get into the questions is a video. And I'm going to go ahead and attempt to screen share here. Very scared right now. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to hope it's this one.
You see where you screen share? There you go.
Okay. Okay, here it
browsers?
is. So here it is. Let me know if y'all hear this.
I don't think we can hear it.
Anything.
Can't hear anything?
No.
Take your headphones out. Try that.
Yes, that will do.
Oh, you know what? Thank you. All right, let me know now.
We can hear it.
I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed.
All right. So, the reason why I wanted to share that video of Michael Jordan is, I don't know if you guys have heard, but there's a documentary that just came out about Michael Jordan. It's a 10-part series, and I am literally so in love with it. And I have this admiration for basketball as well. But, you know, when you have the greatest of all time discussion, you hear Michael Jordan, and I think Michael Jordan, who he is, who his character, what his character shows me is the definition of what resilience is. And he definitely faced, as I'm watching this documentary, different adversities, and he struggled to become the greatest at what he did. And what I want to ask you guys is, what have you gone through that has taught you resilience? Maybe it doesn't have to be an event, but I think maybe what I want to ask is, what did you also learn when you learned what resilience was? JC, go ahead.
One thing I learned is like, there's a lot of things that I guess we like really like take advantage of, and we don't really think of the things that really give us like resiliency in life. We can like be really down, and we don't realize what can be like that pick me up, or what can be that thing that we can go to. I feel like when we're in our darkest times, we don't really think about what's going to help us or what can help us. We just feel like, oh, I'm so alone, even though you may not be so alone. You have all these resources around you, or you may feel really helpless and you're like, there's nothing to help me. But there's actually like these resources that you can go to, like on campus. Like there's like the writing center and stuff, and like tutoring center when you're just really feeling like you can't get this paper done, or you feel so stressed about it. And I feel like a lot of us don't really think, oh, I could just go to the writing center, they can help me, or they can look over my mistakes, or I can go and get tutoring. I think those are things that we don't really think about.
Mhm. I agree, absolutely. Any other things that come when you learn resilience? Anything that comes to mind when resilience comes to mind? So, yeah, Lori, go ahead. 5 minutes.
Oh, whenever I think about resilience, I think about like the the different things that I can do or say that that help me whenever I'm feeling down. Like for example, I got kind of upset the other day about not being able to finish a paper on time, but then like I just kind of like took a nap and woke up and I played with my dog a little bit, and then I don't know, I felt better. So like, and I was like, maybe I was just sleepy. Like maybe that's why I was so upset, kind of. So like whenever I think about resilience, I think about like taking naps and like actually like slowing down for a second and thinking about how like what I need to do to what the next step is.
I like that. Thank you, Lori. Thank you for sharing that. So what I'm hearing from what you're saying is kind of just, so when you took a nap, was it like, were you just like, man, I have so much to do, I'm gonna just take a nap real quick? Or was it just, I need this nap, I'm gonna take care of this nap and then get back?
It was more like the second one. Like I was like, okay, I just need to like take a breath for a second. And then whenever I thought about it, I was like, I'm actually really sleepy, and maybe that's why I'm like upset and everything. So after I took my nap, I was like, yep, that's what I needed.
Yeah, yeah. And something important for us to remember is that resilience is, like we all know, the capacity to just kind of bounce back. And, if we can look at Lori as an example real quick, what she needed was a nap. And for her to be able to bounce back to do what she had to do, she just needed to take a break, give herself that mental reset, and get back to it. And something that I want to enlighten you guys in is that when it comes to thinking about our own personal resilience, um, we're going to start making connections with what's going to be helpful to us. And something that I want you guys to consider and think about, because this is only our second session, but we're also terminating. We're between last week and this week, we're more in the contemplation and preparation phase, and I want you guys to be able to implement what we talk about here. So as we wrap up, we only have a limited time left, but are there any ways that that you guys could see yourselves implementing things that we've learned in here when you guys need to solve or get over a hump of any kind? JC, you can go ahead.
So yeah, like I feel like this group has like been really helpful for me, and so like one thing that's gonna like really help me is just like being able to think back on this group and the things that we've talked about and the things that we've discussed, like feelings and emotions, and also the resources once I get back on campus, because I know like once I start to get stressed, I'm not gonna think about the resources, but I can think back to this and be like, oh, Caitlin and Caleb said this, and this is where I can go for this, and these are the resources that I have here just for me. So yeah.
Yes, thank you. Anybody else? Caitlin, please.
Just as a co-facilitator, I have learned a lot from you guys, and something I'm definitely taking away from here is kind of what Lori was talking about, and just the resource of being able to self-reflect and realize what you need in that moment. I think we talk a lot about resilience and self-care, and it kind of gets lost in translation to what that really means. And resilience and self-care isn't taking a bubble bath with candles once a month. It's implementing things into your daily life and making a decision to make your life better for you and to make good decisions that are good for your mind and your health, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And so I'm definitely taking away from this that there's external resources, that I talked to you guys about, and then there's the ability to self-reflect and to assess yourself for what you need in that moment. And that's really important in order to be resilient and to do things that, make your life better and to improve yourself.
I could not have said those words any better. Thank you, Caitlin. So closing out, we definitely had a lot of accomplishments in our time together with this group. Something I want to remind you guys of is that you're all capable. We've talked in this group of identifying resources, and I know you guys are capable in getting yourselves out of difficult situations, making things easier. So I have good faith in you guys, and thank you for everything.